This is the plaintiff, Yvonne Threat. She says she mistakenly hired the defendant to fix her roof, and the guy was smoking pot on the job. She also found out he wasn't licensed. She told him to get off her property and wants him to refund her $2,000 deposit and is suing for just that. This is the defendant, Ray Penamon. He says he does excellent work and worked hard on the plaintiff's roof, so why should he give her a refund? He was ready, willing, and able to complete the job. The plaintiff's having problems with her tenants, and that has nothing to do with him, so he owes nothing. He's accused of being a rough roofer.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff hired the defendant to fix her roof, but says the guy was smoking marijuana on the job. She kicked him out and she wants her money back. But the defendant says that he didn't smoke pot in the job and deserves to be paid in full for all the hard work he did. It's the case of, let me be blunt.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Threat, you are suing your former contractor here, Mr. Penamon, for $2,000 that you gave him as a deposit, which you believe he should return to you. Why? Tell me what happened.
In October, I was driving down the street, and I saw Mr. Penamon on a roof. And I stopped my car, and I asked Mr. Penamon, did he do that roof? And he said, yeah. And I said, are you a roofer? He said, yes. I asked him to come by my property. I am a landlord. I own 3 houses on my street. And I asked him to come by one of my houses and give me an estimate on a complete roof job.
Okay, so what was it that made you stop? Just because you saw a guy on a roof?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
All right,
and I asked him if he was a roofer.
Right, but so did you ever try to contact the
Yes.
homeowner and get a reference to see if the homeowner was happy with his work?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Ooh,
No,
okay.
ma'am, I did not.
So he comes, he gives you, basically you just opened the phone book. And so he comes and gives you an estimate, and what happens?
So he told me that he would be able to do the roof for $6,000. I gave him a $2,000 deposit. He came by, and he did start the job. But every time Mr. Penamon would come by the house, he would only come by and do maybe an hour's worth of work, and he would leave. So my tenant and my sister, both of my houses is on the street. They live right across the street from each other. The tenant and my sister said that Mr. Penamon was on the job smoking marijuana. And I said, you smoke marijuana? And I said, oh, something ain't right about this. So I went downtown to City Hall and the courtroom, and I had them do some research on Mr. Penamon. Mr. Penamon was not, he told me that he was licensed and bonded. He told me that he had pulled a permit. He did none of that.
Okay. Mr. Penamon, are you licensed and bonded?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Ms. Threat, when you
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
that he's smoking marijuana and you find out that he's not licensed or bonded, what do you do?
I told him that I didn't think that he should continue to do the work because I feel like if he's on my property smoking marijuana and on top of my roof, that he can fall and I would be liable and get sued for it.
Okay. Is there any other reason that you fired him besides that? Was there some problem
No,
between?
ma'am.
Was there a problem between your tenants and him?
What happened was Mr. Penamon had a trailer. He had a trailer. And when he put the trailer in the driveway, he put the trailer so the tenants couldn't come out the side door. He also left the ladders on the roof. And the tenants were afraid that somebody was going to come in their house, climb on the ladders, and go in the house and
climb on the ladder and then come down the chimney like Santa Claus? Like, what were they?
No, ma'am, no.
Maybe through the windows, they're worried. All right, so Mr. Penamon, were you smoking marijuana on the job?
No, not at all.
Okay. What was the problem you had with the tenants? You think you got fired because of the problem with the tenants, right?
Yeah, from the time I started, the tenants wouldn't let me in the driveway to start on the main roof.
But the tenants were mad at you. Why? What happened?
This guy, he says that he's a roofer and stuff, and
The
I
tenant?
don't know what I'm doing.
The tenant?
The tenant, and he says that I'm not supposed to use his electricity, and he says I'm a a handyman or something like that to that.
Well, you better be a handyman, because if you're something other than that, then you're an unlicensed roofer. All right, so what happens when he says all that stuff to you?
When I couldn't get in the driveway and stuff to get the job started, I was leaving the premises because I couldn't get in touch with Mrs. Threat. She wouldn't answer my phone calls. And so I laid low because I know that they got to leave eventually to go somewhere. So what I did, then I pulled the trailer into the driveway and proceeded to set it up in the back, as far back as I could possibly get the trailer, and I put a lock on it.
When you say as far back as you could, was there room for them to park when they came back?
Yes.
Did you ever pull the trailer in a way that would block them from leaving?
No. What happened was I was on another job, and the roofing guy calls me, and he says, "Your trailer is blocking, and I can't get out the side door." So I went over and I says, "I'll make an adjustment." So I adjusted the trailer so that the door could open up all the way on the side door.
Did Miss Threat ever tell you where to park your trailer?
Yes, she told me to block the driveway and don't let them in there with their cars, period.
Why?
And when I didn't do that, she got mad.
Wait,
with
why?
me. I don't know.
According to you, to your answer to the complaint, you say that she said she was evicting them anyway.
She said she was going to evict them in January because she didn't like the way they did things around there.
Did you have that conversation with him, Miss Threat? Did you mention anything about it?
He's not being honest at all.
Did you have that
are actually telling the
conversation with him,
story.
yes or no?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay. How much work did you get done there, Mr. Penniman?
Yes, I completed the front porch. There was
What do you mean by completed?
wood, the wood damage on the front porch. After tearing the roof off the front porch, I proceeded to do the repairs, put in new rafters where they were bad, and I put new sheeting where they was rotted and everything. And then while I was over there working, she shows up on the site with a bag of fruit and yams to give me.
What?
I told Mrs. Threat that I had already purchased the materials.
Can you show
and I
me
was
evidence that
setting
you
up-
purchased the materials?
No.
Oh, well, why don't you? If you bought roofing material, you would have a receipt. Or you would have proof of
What
payment.
I did was I purchased the materials from roofing wholesalers.
Great. Where's your receipt?
I don't have one.
Why not? How much did you pay?
I didn't. I measured everything out.
How much
and
did you pay?
I don't have the actual slip with me.
All right, Mr. Penniman, I mean, it boggles the imagination that you're being sued about the deposit, and you look me in the eye and tell me that you bought roofing material, but no, I don't have any proof of it. Like, why not? You would have it because you would need that for your taxes, to pay taxes, right? So if you went and bought roofing materials, and you would have a receipt, you would have a credit card receipt, you would have something to show you bought roofing materials. Otherwise, maybe it's like she says, that all you did was rip off the shingles off the porch. That's what she says. That's all you did. You didn't get very far at all in your job. That's what she says. All right. Who did you think was pulling a permit to do the roof, if not you?
If there's a permit that needs to be pulled, then the landlord could go to the building department.
Just a moment. I know exactly how this works. I know what a homeowner can do. I've been a homeowner. I'm the daughter of a contractor. I know exactly what can be done. What I'm asking you is, you accept $6,500 to do a roofing job because it's not anything other than a roofing job. You don't have a license to do it. And you know that this is something that requires a permit. So did you ask her to see the permit that she had pulled?
No, I didn't.
No, not only that, the issue of the permit never even came up, did it?
No, it didn't.
Right.
When I called the police, when my trailer was moved to 127th Street, the police showed up, and as soon as I started talking to the police about what happened, Mrs. Threat called me on my cell phone and says, "Get all your equipment and leave the premises."
Yeah, because there's a lot of drama with her tenants. They're All right, I am going to allow you to keep $300 of the money, and the rest of it's going back to her $1,700 verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you.
Let me talk to you, Mr. Panama, while the plaintiff tries to get herself together. You got to give $1,700 back. What do you think?
Well, what I added up was around approximately $1,300 worth of labor and materials that was put on the porch roof.
Maybe on the next roofing job, you'll get a permit for it. And maybe you should go get a license, too. Sorry about that. Ms. Threat, how you doing?
I'm crying. I'm going to be okay. Thank you.
Why are you crying?
I don't know, because I tried to do the right thing, but I just tried to do the right thing, and I just was upset and hurt behind all this stuff. And I'm happy that the judge awarded me and saw that I was telling the truth, because I was.
Okay. And maybe you should be a little
Thank
more
you.
careful next time you hire a roofer. Do you think
Yes.
about that?
Yes, I will.
All right. Okay, good enough. Harvey?
So, Doug, in this case, the reason the plaintiff didn't get all of the money back is that if there is value the plaintiff receives for part of the job, even if the defendant just breached the hell out of the contract, that amount should be reflected by what goes back to the customer. So if the customer gets the benefit of half of the contract, the customer would only get half the money back.
A branch from my apple tree hangs out over a public sidewalk. Unfortunately, that branch has the best fruit. Kids get on each other's shoulders to grab them. I say that's theft. Am I right?
Yes. This is theft. You can't do that. You can't get up and take the apples that are on the tree and pull them off and eat them, even if it's hanging over a public sidewalk, because it's on somebody else's property. It's a petty theft. It's not a lot of money. They're probably not going to lock you up and throw away the key if they catch you taking an apple. But if the apple falls onto the sidewalk or the grass next to the sidewalk, it's not theft. You can just pick it up and eat it, right?
We were just at a hotel, and there was an apple branch from the property next to the hotel.
Wait, this was the Hampton Inn in Buffalo, New York.
That's right. But the tree wasn't the Hampton Inns. It was the property across the way.
It was a peach tree, and it was on the other side of the fence, but it was hanging over, right?
Well, how come that's okay for you to grab that peach, but it's not okay for these kids to grab the apple?
Well,
I think it's the same thing.
Maybe it was against the law, and I shouldn't have gotten up on the hood of the car. You told me not to get on the hood of the car.
Well, that's because you were getting on the hood of a car. That didn't need saying.
I couldn't reach him unless I got on the hood of the car.
It's like, sometimes I turn around and I'm like, you're 12. He didn't just do that.